Hello everyone, and welcome to the Security Desk Operator Basics GTAC Tech Talk webinar. Thanks for attending today. My name is Derek. I am a Technical Training e-Content Specialist with Genetec, and I'll be presenting the webinar for you. If you have any questions during the webinar, you can just type them in the question box of the GoToWebinar console, and we'll get back to you with an answer as soon as possible. Today we have Cecilia from the Genetec Technical Assistance Center who will be answering your questions. Now, just in case we need to verify any information for your question, we'll make a note of it and get back to you via email as soon as we have an answer for you. All the questions and answers from the webinar will be posted on the GTAC Tech Talk section of the Genetec Technical Assistance Portal forums about a day or two after the webinar has finished. If you have any additional questions or comments on the webinar or the GTAC Tech Talk webinar series in general, you can post them in this section of the GTAP forum as well. All the videos of the previous webinars can be found by going to the Resources section and then go under Videos and click on the GTAC Tech Talk section on the left here. Now there's two ways that you can watch these, either streaming in a browser window by clicking on this icon here, or you can download a zipped Windows media file by clicking on the second icon right here. Now we also have a new Genetec Training YouTube channel. Just search for Genetec Training from YouTube on your desktop or mobile device, and you can find our channel containing all the videos from previous webinars, specific operator training videos, and other how-to videos. If you'd like to receive emails concerning the latest additions to the Genetec Technical Assistance Portal, you can log into the GTAP, go into the My Account section, and go under Email and Notifications. From the Notifications section down below, you can check the boxes of the subjects you're interested in and select how often you'd like to receive an email when there have been additions to those sections. To put a checkbox next to a subject here, the frequency will have to be set to daily or weekly. If you have it set to never, the options here will be grayed out. And of course, don't forget to hit the Submit button on the bottom to save any changes that you've made to your page here. Now, looking at the goals for the webinar, the first thing we want to achieve is to give everyone a brief look at the most common tasks they'll need to do and how to perform them in the security desk. Now, this includes general tasks like running reports, and also specific ones for video and access control, like exporting video or putting doors in maintenance mode. We also want to cover any basic navigation you'll need to know to get started, such as customizing the canvas and cleaning up your workspace. This includes any customizable settings and the options that we'll want to set for the tasks that we'll be using. Now, this webinar here. It's a very basic look at the core security desk operator concepts, but if you yourself or one of your clients are interested in a more in-depth and intensive operator training, please consider signing up for one of the technical training courses. If you would like to see when they're being offered, we have our training calendar available on the main Genetec website. So just go to genetec.com, hover over the support section here, and click on the training calendar under the training section. You can see more details from here about the courses offered from the training courses link. Now, taking a look at the agenda, we've broken the subjects into three categories. So we have our general categories, video, and access control. In the general section, we're going to have a look at the common operator activities, such as navigation in the security desk, monitoring entities, and how to handle alarms. In the video section, we'll take a look at camera-specific tasks, such as controlling PTZ cameras and reviewing recorded video. And in the access control section, we'll see how to interact with doors and tiles, manage card holders and credentials, and how to handle any maintenance that may need to be done. Now we're going to do things a little differently here. Traditionally in the Tech Talk webinars, I like to use PowerPoint to really focus on the areas that I feel people should be paying attention to on the screen. Quite often in the interfaces there's a lot of different options on the screen, and it can be hard to focus on the exact one that we need to look at. However, since we're looking at the security desk and really we do need to know where things are on there, I am going to run everything off of a live security desk for us. After this part. So, all right, let's start out by taking a look at the general security desk features that you'll be using whenever you're viewing video or managing doors, and just how to find our way around the interface here. So starting off with the general navigation, the first thing we're going to want to do is log in. Now I'm just going to show you the three different ways that we can do this, depending on how the system has been set up. So the most basic way to do this is to have your own username and password that has been configured in Security Center. To log in this way, we just need to enter our credentials in the logon box and enter the name or the IP address of the directory you're connecting to. Now we can also use the Use Windows Credentials checkbox here. So if you want to log in using the same username and password that you've been using to log into Windows on your workstation. But this is something that needs to be set up on the system ahead of time, so it's not something that can be used by default. If you have any doubts on which option to use, just ask your system administrator. Now you may also see additional options here if the system has been configured to require two sets of credentials to be able to log on. In this case, your supervisor will need to enter their username and password here as well. Okay, so we're going to switch over to the security desk now. So to log off from the system, this is where you'll be spending most of your time here, we just need to click on the Home tab on top here, and then click on the Log Off option right here. Now this will bring you back to the Log On screen. Now if you'd like to close the security desk, you're just going to need to cancel out of the Log Off operation first, or Log On operation. If you log off and you have been using the security desk, it may ask you to save any tasks you've been working with. So choosing the Save option will cause the same task to be loaded the next time you log on. So just to give you an example of that, if I log off here, it's going to ask us to save the open tasks. I can hit Save, or if I want it to come back to a default configuration, I can choose not to. So I'm going to hit Save. And from here, if I want to actually close it, I can't press the button until I actually cancel here. Okay, so there's three main sections of the home screen here. On the left side, we have our sections we can navigate to, including our tasks, our tools, and our options. Now with the exception of the options here, which opens a new pop-up window, choosing a section here on the left will change the main navigation section in the middle here. Now on top you can see we have a tab for every open task. And we also have our notification tray up here, which shows any important information about your system, such as any active alarms you might have, and the CPU usage of the machine that you're currently using. If you hover over an icon, it's usually going to give us more information, like the CPU usage right here. And clicking on some buttons will give you actions you can perform as well. So for instance, our hot actions here, we have certain ones that we can actually execute from right from that section right there. Now to change to a task that you currently have open, it's really simple. You just need to click on the task on top here to switch to it. If you have more tabs on top here than can be displayed in the room that you have, you will see an icon on the right side that's going to give you a drop-down list of all the tasks that you have open. Now back from the on the home screen here, we can use the search bar on the top here to look for any task or tool that has the text you enter in either the name or the description. Now the first time you log into the security desk, you're going to see a whole list of tasks like this. Once you start using the security desk and you start opening tasks, you're going to see a list of recent items, like this one right here. Now, if we need to get back to that list of all tasks to look for a specific one, we just need to click on the Browse All Tasks button on the bottom. Now, if we hover over any task or tool icon, it's going to give you an option to add it as a favorite. We just need to click on the star icon on the top right to add it as a favorite. Now, we can also right-click on a task or the tab as well to choose to add it for a favorite as well. So here we can just add this as a favorite. And if I want my alarm report, I can right-click on that and add that to favorites as well. Now if we go back to the our home screen here, if we had switched out to something else and gone back to the home screen, you can see that we now have our recent items, and we also have our list of favorites on the left here. Now if we want to, we can remove these from the favorites. We just need to click on the star again, or again we can right click on it and remove it from favorites. Now just one quick tip, if you're using multiple monitors, you can hit the F11 key to make the security desk maximize to all your screens. Now in some situations that may not be convenient to use all of them, but we're going to see in a few minutes how we can say which screens we want to use. Okay, so looking at the task icons themselves, we do have a color coding system based on the task function. So if you see a green line underneath an icon, or when you highlight it, that task is used for video. Anything with a red line or a red highlight like that is a access control task. And anything with an orange highlight or line underneath it is for LPR or license plate recognition. Now from our full task list here, we can see that they're also divided into 3 sections. We have ones for operation, ones for investigation, and if we scroll down a bit, because we do have quite a few investigation ones, we do have the maintenance section right down here. Now the operation tasks are the ones you're going to want to use when you want to actually do something, such as monitoring live video or managing card holders. Investigation tasks are used for generating reports or looking for video. And down here the maintenance tasks are used to see how the Security Center system is configured or functioning. Now let's take a look at a couple of tasks to see the different parts of the interface that we'll be using. So looking at the monitoring task, for example, we have our logical view on the side here, our canvas here in the middle, and our dashboard here on the side. Now when you first start up, this might be hidden, but if you pull down on these 4 dots right here, you're going to see our report pane right up on top here. For any task that allows you to select an entity, such as the monitoring task or the video archives task, the logical view will show the entities on your system that are related to that task. For example, the logical view in the monitoring task will show things like cameras and doors and areas. Now the canvas here can be used to display any entities or any records from a specific entity. In the monitoring task, we could drag a camera from the logical view to a tile in the canvas here to view the live video. Now if we have an alarm report up on top here, I'm just going to run a quick report here. We could drag the alarm incident from the report pane down to the canvas, and we can see any related video from the time of the alarm for all cameras associated with that alarm. Now the dashboard on the side here displays any widgets that we can use for the entity that we have selected. So just jumping back to the monitoring tab here, we can see our different widgets here. This basically gives us quick access to the functions for the selected entity. In this case we have a camera selected, and that will change depending on the type of entity we have selected. So anytime we are using the canvas, we will have the tile widget in our widget list on the side here. Now the information in the report pane on top will change depending on the task that we're using. For instance, in the monitoring task, this will show any incoming events. We don't have any at the moment. We'll see in a minute why. And for instance, in the alarm monitoring task, it will show the list of alarms in the system. Now, reporting task will also have the report pane, and depending on the types of entities in the report, we may also have the canvas and the dashboard as well. So, for instance, in the alarm report, we do have the reporting pane, and we do have the canvas and the widgets here. Now we also have a pane on the left which allows us to modify the filters used in the report and run the report using the selected filters. Now let's say this is a report we want to run quite often, but we don't want to have to set it up again every time. We can save tasks for our own use and share them with others. So once we have the task configured the way we like, we can right-click on the Task tab, and we can choose the Save As option. If this is a task we've already saved before, we can make changes and choose the Save option using the same method here. Now, of course, it's going to ask for a name, so I can call this Alarm Report 2, just to be totally non-creative here. As well, it's going to ask if we want to save this as a private task or a public task. Private tasks can only be used by your specific user, and public tasks are available to all users on the system. So if we do choose a public task, we can also specify a partition to save it to. Partitions are used to separate entities by their security level, so you can make a public task that is available only to administrators, but not operators. Now I'm just going to save this one here. Now to load these tasks, we can go back to our home screen here, and then we can see that we've got our list under tasks. We've got private tasks and public tasks here. So just like any other task or tool, you can add these to your favorites as well. So if we look, we've got something in our private tasks that only I can use. And the public task, we can see that's the alarm report that I just saved. And I can add this as a favorite if I want to as well. Okay, so let's go back to the monitoring task for a minute. And just to take a closer look at a few things concerning entity monitoring, and customizing our view. Now I mentioned that we can simply drag and drop a camera from the logical view into a tile to view the video. We can do that really with any entity, including doors and areas. We can also send an entity to a tile by double-clicking on the entity from the logical view. It will go into the next available tile, or if we had a full section here, it'll kick out one of the entities to make space for itself. Now you can also select multiple entities and drag and drop them into the canvas to populate many tiles at once. So to select entities, we can either use the Control key and select them one at a time, or we can use the Shift key to select a group of entities. Now, if we don't have enough free empty tiles, it will give us this warning that some entities were not displayed. Now, you can also use searches and filters to find specific entities. These are found above the logical view. The search is not case sensitive and will update the logical view with the search results. So, for example, if we know the door we're looking for has the word side in the name, we can just type that in here and hit enter, and it's going to update the search results. Now note that any results here are still grouped under the areas that they are found in as well. This is handy in case you have multiple entities with similar names but in different locations. So if you'd like to see only a certain set of entities, you can apply a filter to the logical view as well. If we clear our search, we can see that we've got the filter button right here. So once we click on it, from here we can filter the entity list based on the description, the type of entity, the partition the entity is in, and the role that the entity is associated with. So for example, if we wanted to look for all doors and areas, we could click on the entity type filter here to expand that. And we can go down and we can highlight doors here. And of course we wanted areas as well. And then we just hit the search option. The results list on the right here will update, and we can select entities that we want to view in the logical view. And that will update with the list of the entities that we selected. Now when a filter or search has been applied, the filter button goes away as we saw and is replaced with a clear button. So we just need to click on that to display all entities that we have in the logical view again. Now we can manually select entities to show in the tiles, but we can also have the tiles populate with any activity on the system. To show any activity in the tiles for a selected group of entities, we need to set up our monitored entities list. Now when we add an entity to the list, certain elements from that entity will show up in the report pane above here, and some of them will show up in the canvas tiles below as well. The list of events that will show up in the report pane and in the tile is configured from the options, which we're going to see in just a couple of minutes. So to select an entity to be monitored, we need to click on the Monitored Entities button on the bottom of the screen. This will give us a list of any currently monitored entities. We only have a camera in there for now. So if we want to add an entity to a list, we can click on the Add button and we can select a particular entity. If I wanted to, I could add my other door as well. Now we can also select an entity and click on the Remove button to get rid of it from being monitored. Now next to the entity we also have this drop-down menu here. So if we select a specific tile in this column, the entity will only ever appear in that specific tile. So if you find you're spending all your time watching the monitored entities and not using the dashboard or logical view, we can hide this to give us more real estate for the canvas. For the monitored entities, you just need to click on the window anywhere and it's going to collapse back down. And just a note, you can see how many entities you have monitored right after the name right here. So it does tell me I have 3 monitored entities here. So as I was mentioning, if we want to get more real estate for the canvas, we can use the buttons below here to hide or show these features. So if, let's say I'm not using the logical view, I can hide it using that button. I can show it again if I want to. And I want to hide the dashboard here as well. Now if we do have the dashboard hidden, but we still need to access something for a widget, you can move the mouse over to the side and it will pop back over temporarily. If I go away from there, it does pop back away. I'm going to just bring those back here since I do have lots of space. And also, as we mentioned, you can grab these 4 dots here between the canvas and the report pane and drag that to resize the space used by both, and you can actually bring it all the way down to get rid of one section completely. So if you have a monitoring task that you're only using to view entities, you can basically get rid of everything else. Now if you'd like to change the number of tiles on the canvas or how the tiles are arranged, we have quite a few different presets that can be used. So from the bottom of the screen, we have the Change Tile Pattern button, and that will modify the canvas for this particular monitoring task. So by default, it will come up with the standard grid layouts from one single tile to 4x4. But if we click on the More button right here, we'll see a lot of other different tile patterns, a lot of different layouts that you might find convenient here. Now just to take a look at what we can do with an entity for a minute, there's 2 ways to interact with the entity in a tile. The first one, of course, we mentioned is using the widget on the right in the dashboard, where you can find a lot of the common actions that you would need to use with the particular entity. Now the widget's changed, as you just saw. I switched from a door to a camera based on the entity type. But if you're not sure what a button does, you can hover over it to get a description. So here now I know that's my export video button. Now from a tile itself, you can either click on the tile number here, and that'll bring up a pop-up window, or you can right-click inside the tile itself, and that brings up the same window and gives us some of the options here. Now these are some specific commands, but they're not exactly the same as the ones we have in the widget. There is some overlap there, but it's not exactly one for one. There are some in there that you can't find in the widget, and vice versa. Now if we are viewing an event or entity that has multiple entities associated with it, you're going to have the option to view the entities in a cycle or to expand them into individual tiles. So for instance, I know I have a camera, 2 doors, and there's actually another camera associated with that door in my area. So if I just drag this area over into the tile, it's going to start cycling through the different cameras and different options. Now if we wanted to view the entities in the cycle or expand them into individual tiles, we just need to click on the eye icon right here. This is how we know that it's a packed entity. And this is going to let us actually choose one of the specific cameras associated with it, start the cycling or stop the cycling process. And we can also unpack it, which you'll see that basically puts it into this mode where we can see both the cameras that we do have associated with that entity. Now again, we can pack or unpack from the eye here, or we can do it from the tile as well. So let's pack that back up. Or if we look down in the dashboard, there actually is an option down there too. Okay, so now that we have a good understanding of the parts of the security desk, let's take a look at how to handle alarms. Now we typically do this from the alarm monitoring task. So let's start that up here. I'm going to go back to my task, and I'm actually just going to search for it here. And you can see that updates very quickly, and this is the task we want to run, so I'm just going to bring that up here. Okay. Now at the moment, as you can see, we don't have any alarms that are active in the system. But you can see this has a very similar feel to the monitoring task as well. To get to this screen, we can actually double-click on the alarm monitoring icon if it is in your icon tray as well, your notification tray. In this case, I do have it shown. It may be hidden by default if you don't have any active alarms. So on top here, we have our list of alarms. Since we have nothing here, I'm going to go into the display options, and I'm going to show all of them. By default, we don't show the acknowledged ones. We only show the ones that are currently have some action that we have to do under them, like active alarms, ones that are under investigation, or that require some kind of acknowledgement. So I'm going to click on Show All, and we're going to see all our previous alarms here. So from the alarm list here, we can drag and drop any alarm into a tile to view it, like this. And as well, we can also interact with any active alarms as well. So if we do have an alarm active, we will have options down here that we can choose how to acknowledge it, or we can perform other actions such as snoozing the alarm or forwarding it. Now, if the alarm contains multiple entities, like I believe this one does, yes it does, we do have the cycling feature and the packing and unpacking option here as well. So this will show any elements that are included. So we have a camera, and we also have a procedure here as well. So if we do have an alarm, we can actually show the alarm procedure. We do have that option here to assist you as well. Now the alarm event will show you important information such as the alarm priority. It's going to show you the triggering event, so these were done manually by the administrator, and the time that it was triggered as well. As we mentioned, if there's a camera associated with the alarm, the tile will show you the video from the time the alarm was activated. Now, once you choose to acknowledge an alarm, you may be asked to fill out an incident report. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to trigger an alarm manually myself. Let's do the unauthorized access. And we can see that one is actually active. Once I highlight it here, we do have our acknowledgement options, and there's our snooze, our forward, and the option to show the procedure. And if I choose to acknowledge the alarm, it may actually come up with an incident report, which you can use to give a description of the cause of the alarm or how it was resolved. So in here I can just say false alarm. Yes, spelled that correctly, good. And you can also add any references here if you want to as well. So if I had another camera that was looking at a similar area, I could actually add that from my list here. Now from here we can either use the create and notify button to ask for another user to send the incident to as well, or we can just do the create here. Now all the acknowledgement options for the alarms, they will show up under the widget on the side as well. So I'm just going to trigger another alarm here. I'll do the same one. And once I have that alarm selected, you will see in the widget we do have the alarm widget, and we have the options here, the same ones that we have above. So I'm just going to acknowledge that again. Just type in something to put it through. There we go. Okay, so if you need to report an incident that happens without an associated alarm, so you spot something in the video and you want to create an incident, you can do that through the Tools menu of the home screen as well. So we're going to go back to the home screen. We're going to go under Tools. And we've got our Report an Incident button right here. Now this is going to ask for the same information, but it will not automatically have the alarm for a reference. So in this case, the reference in the list is empty, and we need to add something in there if we wanted to associate anything with that particular incident, such as the camera that we saw the video from. Okay, so we're going to take a look at how to run reports and what we can do from there as well. Now we mentioned previously how the workspace was set up, but let's take a closer look at what we can do with the filters list on the side. So I'm just going to jump into the bookmarks section right here. Taking a look at the filters on the side here, if we want to activate or deactivate a particular filter, we can just click on the header bar right here with the name. So it doesn't have to be anywhere particular, just click on it and it'll either turn it on or off. So for example, if we wanted to run a bookmarks report to see the bookmarks from the back storage room camera, but we only want to see the ones from the last 2 days, we'd put a check mark here on the camera from the camera filter, and then we need to specify our time range. So we'd have to make sure that this is actually on first of all, and then we can say we want it relative to the last 2 days. Now relative ranges are always starting from the current time and going back as much time as we specify, which can be measured in years all the way down to seconds. Now if we have saved a report task using the relative time range, it's still going to look for the results based on the current time, regardless of when the task was saved. Now an absolute time range is more strict. From here we need to specify the actual from time and date and the to time and date, so the start and end times. You can also uncheck one of the from or to time and date fields to leave it open-ended. For example, if you wanted to see any bookmarks before December 8th at 12 p.m., you'd put that date in the to field, and we would uncheck the from field here. Now clicking on either the calendar or the clock icon will bring up a quick selection window. So this is very easy and convenient for modifying the time that you want to put in the actual range here. Now we run the report using the Generate Report button on the bottom of the filters list, and the results will come up in the report pane on the side here. Now if we want to customize how the results look, you can right-click on the columns header, and you can choose to select certain columns. In this case we do have everything selected, but if I find that the message really isn't helpful, I can actually take that out and hit OK, and it's going to give me a much cleaner view here. Now also in the report pane are the options to export the report and print the report. So when exporting a report, we can choose the format, which is either an Excel spreadsheet, a CSV or comma-separated value file, or a PDF document. And of course, we're also going to need to specify the destination path and file name, and of course give it an appropriate file name considering the specific results from the report. Hitting the print button up here will bring up a preview where you can make any changes you need to the printing settings or to the printer selected as well. From here as well, if you want to, you can even export the report. So you do have the options here as well. It's a very versatile tool. All right, before we get out of the general section, I want to take a look at a few of the options that we can configure. So going back to our home screen here, we can go down to our options button on the left, and that's going to bring up our options pop-up window here. Now there are several sections in here, but I'm only going to highlight the ones you might need to configure to help you see what you need to in the security desk. Now we mentioned running the security desk in full screen mode previously, but let's say we have 3 monitors, but we only want to show the security desk in 2 of them. So from our general tab here, the first one, we can see any monitors that we have listed here. So if I want to only run it on monitor 1 and 2, but I want to keep monitor 0 for other activities, I can just uncheck that monitor from the list. Now by default, as you saw, they are all used, but you can use that for whatever function that you do need. Now taking a look here in the visual tab, we do have a list of all the icons that can show up in the notification tray. So from here we can choose if we want to show the icon all the time, hide it all the time, or show it when there are notifications. So for instance, I mentioned the alarms is usually set to show notifications only, but I want to see it anyways. I want to have it there, so I selected to have it at show, so it'll always be in my notification tray. Now previously we were talking about monitoring events that come in from our entities. So if we showed all the events that come in, it would make for a very big list in our report pane, and it'd be really hard to see the important events when they show up. So for that reason, we can customize which events show up in the report pane, and the ones which cause an entity to be shown, and which ones cause an entity to be shown in the tile in the canvas as well. So the way we do that is through our Events tab on the left here. Now this gives us a list of all the events that we can get on our system. The first column on the left here is whether we want the event to show up in the report pane. The second column is if we want to actually show that event in the tile as well with the associated entity. Now to check the second box, you can see it's grayed out. It's because we don't have the first box checked. You do need to have the first box checked to be able to check the tile one. So it needs to show up in the report pane if we want to see it in the tile as well. Now some events have no entity to display, so they will not have a tile checkbox, such as users logging in or off, on or off, or if an application is connected or lost. So there's a lot of specific event types in the system, so don't forget to use the search box up here as well to find any specific event that you're looking for. Okay, so let's take a few minutes to look at some specific video-related topics, starting out with viewing live and recorded video. Now, viewing cameras in the monitoring task is very easy. As we've seen, we just need to drag the camera from the logical view or the report pane and drop it in a tile here. Now, from the canvas, if we hover over a tile, it's going to bring up the video controls on the bottom here. A little easier on this one. The controls will change if we're viewing live or recorded video. Live video will show a small live word right here, indicator on the bottom right. And if we have a red spot next to it, that does indicate that the camera is recording. Now if we go into playback mode, the controls stay active, and you will see the time indicator showing how long ago the video is being viewed from. From the in-tile controls, you can view thumbnails for both the live or the recorded video. And this makes visually searching for something a lot easier. And you have controls to rewind or jump forward in the video. Now when viewing live video, the forward controls will be grayed out. As we can see from this one right here, there's no forward control. And you're going to also have this pause or play button right here. Now, if we're actually in live mode, let's get rid of the thumbnails there. This will automatically put you into the playback mode. Now, from the playback bar below the controls here, you can click on it, and you can drag it to change to another time. So we can actually scroll back and look for something at a specific time here. And we can click in the actual time bar to jump to that specific time. And we can also use the mouse wheel to scroll in or out from the time bar. So we can see here I'm zooming out quite a bit. I'm going to roll it back and just take a look for any kind of video here. Okay, so if the playback bar is white like we see here, that means that there is recorded video. We see the little green bars here. This indicates the motion level seen by the camera at that time, if that information has been collected. This is really dependent on the camera settings and the unit hardware as well. Now we can get back to live video by clicking on the purple arrow right here. From the live mode, the purple arrow is a spot showing the recording status. Black means it's not recording, like this one right here. And red, of course, means it is recording. And if we have a lock, it means the recording capability has been locked based on the recording settings for that camera. So in both cases, this is locked recording, and this one, it's locked not recording. Now, as we can see, there are even more controls in the widget in the dashboard here. When we're viewing live video like we are for this camera, we can also do things like take snapshots, we can create or navigate bookmarks, and we can enable or disable the speaker and microphone attached to this entity. Now the widget is also a good indicator if we're in live or playback mode as well. The playback widget has different options, including the ability to jump forward and backward in video. Let's just jump into the playback one here. So we can jump forward and backward using the two buttons on the far side here. And we also have the scrub bar here, so we can scrub the timeline backwards and forwards. Now in both live and playback mode, we also have the option to digitally zoom into the image. So basically we just, I'm going to bring this one up to one tile to show this off a little bit better. I did that just by double clicking on the camera here. So it's still in tile 2, we just brought it up to view it full screen, and I can return it to our canvas, regular canvas if needed. Okay, so to activate the digital zoom, we can just click and drag on the image to select the area to zoom in on. Now we're going to get our preview window up here where we can move the zoomed area around. And we can click on the X on the bottom right of the preview window to get back to the default view with no zoom. We can also use the slider on the right side of the image to activate the digital zoom and to zoom in or out once we're in the zoom mode. If we zoom it out to 1.0 magnification here, that means it is in its regular mode with no digital zoom. Now we can also use the mouse wheel to zoom in or out as well, which is very convenient. If we're not in digital zoom mode, this will actually kick in the zoom and just zoom in on the center of the screen. Now if we want to clear a camera from a tile, or any other entity for that matter, we can just click on the recycle bin in the tile controls here, and that'll get rid of it. We can also just hit the backspace key on our keyboard, and that'll get rid of any tile, any contents of a tile, clear it out. Now if we want to clear everything out, we can hold down the control key and hit the backspace. You can see that cleared out our canvas completely. Okay, so if you're using visual tracking, so I'm going to bring this one up again. This allows us to change between cameras from within a tile. You can need to activate this feature to be able to use it. And to do that, we just click on this option right here, the visual tracking, the 2 feet on the widget here. This is also available from the camera menu. So we can see we've got the enable visual tracking right here. I don't think I have it set up on this camera, however. I do have it on one of them. There we go. Okay, so we do have it there. I just clicked on it from the widget here. I think I just didn't hover on it before. Okay, so from here we can click on one of the regions to jump to one of the cameras that have been defined. So this is very good for actually following somebody if we have this set up for the camera. As you saw, this does need to be configured by your system administrator. If you hover over it, you will get a preview of which camera the range is associated with. So on this bar on the right side here is associated with our side entrance camera. I can see a preview there. And if I go over and hover on this side, it's a different camera, almost different location. It's the payroll department hallway camera, and that will allow us to change to that one. So if I click on it, it brings that camera up instead. Okay, one last thing to mention about recorded video is how to find the video clips you're looking for. So you do this from the Archives task. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go into my tasks from the home screen, and I'm going to look for, it's an investigation task, and it's the Archives task. So I'll just click that to bring that up. And we'd start out by choosing the camera we wish to view from the entity selector on the left. So let's say we're going to pick the payroll department hallway. And below the entity selector, it'll show you all the days of recordings that we do have available. We can also switch to a time range to make a specific search. And either with a date or a range selected, we just need to hit the Generate Report button on the bottom here. And it's going to show us all the video files associated with that particular date that we selected. Now it will also give us any motion data if that is available, and the thumbnails from that time as well. Now when we're using PTZ cameras, we're going to see a change in the tile and the widget behavior. I'm actually just going to switch back over to the PowerPoint slides for this. So the widget will show you your PTZ controls that you can use to move the camera around. and we can use it to zoom in and zoom out of the camera using the physical camera zoom as well. This is not doing the digital zoom. Now if the camera supports these features and they're not grayed out, you can also choose to set and activate presets. We have quick presets there, and we have our preset activations here. We can also run patterns from here, which tell the camera to move around a specific way to view different locations. So from the tile, we can also control the PTZ. The previous commands for activating a digital zoom may not apply to PTZ cameras, as it will activate the physical zoom on the camera instead. So for instance, zooming with the mouse wheel is one way to zoom, and the camera may support the function to draw an area to zoom in on as well. So from the tile, you can click anywhere in the tile and hold the button down to have the PTZ move in that direction, whichever way the arrow is pointed, where the center of the image here is no movement whatsoever. Now the farther away from the center the arrow is, the faster the PTZ will move. So once you have the PTZ in a position you like, you can actually save this as a preset, and the PTZ will return to that position anytime you'd like. So just from the presets in the widget, we can click on the drop down to select the preset we want to use, and we can hit the save button. If there was a preset here at that position, it will be overwritten, and we can also rename it if we want to as well. So to return to this position, we can choose the preset from here. We just click on the eyeball icon here to move the PTZ camera to that preset position. Okay, so moving on, we're going to take a look. I'm going to bring the security desk back up. We're going to take a look at a couple of nice features you can use to keep track of events that happen in your video recordings. So the first one is using bookmarks. So a bookmark enables you to put a placeholder that you can return to at any time, along with a description of what's happening at that time. So from the camera widget, you can click on this button here, and that will create a bookmark. And you just need to give it a description. You can also choose to protect the video at that time. So I can put a brief description there. So this way that we can go back and review it, and if we protect the video, that means it won't get cleared up once the retention period has passed. Now in this case the camera is recording, but we can set it to record when a bookmark is created, and it will record for a set period of time. That's basically configured by your system administrator. Now when we're looking at our timeline, we can now see that we've got that bookmark icon right there. If you can see that little orange icon right there. Now if we hover over it, we can see the information, so we know what time it was created at and who created it, and we can see the description that I wrote in there, suspicious character. Now as well, in the widget, we can use the forward and back buttons in the camera widget to jump to any previous or next bookmarks. So I can keep doing this and jump to other bookmarks. So you can see we had another one here, door left open. Now if you'd like to see all your bookmarks, you can run a bookmarks task. I already have one open up here, so I'm just going to switch to it. And we can search for any bookmarks for a specific camera over a set time range, like we did when we were looking at the report pane there. So we saw how to set up the filters there, and as well the bookmark can be dragged from the report pane to the canvas to view that video at that time. If we did in fact have any set. In this case the camera was set not to record, but if we take a look, I'm going to change the camera to the one that we just had selected here. I'm going to go to within the last 2 days. If you do see this warning, it's not too bad. It usually is warning you that it covers multiple days and you may get a lot of results. And as you can see, we did get quite a few here. So if I drag and drop that down into the tile, we can see the bookmark here. Now, from the camera widget, we can also save a snapshot. So that's the button right here. Now, this will quickly save the image at that time. We don't need to give it any information. Just keep an eye on the top right corner here. When I click on the Save a Snapshot button, you'll see the notification pop up telling me the snapshot was saved. This makes it very easy. You don't need to type any special information, anything like that. So if we want to view the snapshots that we saved, we can go to our home screen and we can go to the Tools and run the Snapshots task right here. So you can select a snapshot from here, and we can delete it, we can rename it, print it, we can email it to somebody if we want, or we can also go to where it's saved using Windows Explorer. So this is good if you want to copy it somewhere else, since it is an image file. Now we can change the sorting on top here, so we can do it by name, we can do the date, the size, and as well we can use the slider bar to change the size of the snapshots. So if you have quite a few and you're looking for something specific, you can shrink it down, or in this case we just have a couple and we want to see more information, we can make it bigger there. Now, both of the functions to add a bookmark or save a snapshot can be done from the camera menu as well. So if we go back here, click on the camera, and you can see we've got the save a snapshot and add a bookmark as well. And that we can get to that from the right-clicking on a tile, right like that too. So that's the same camera menu right here. Okay, so the next thing you might need to do when viewing cameras is export a video clip. I know we're getting we're close to the time here. This is going to be a bit of a longer webinar, so we're going to go into the access control section soon. So it's probably going to be another 15 minutes or so. Okay, so exporting a video clip. How can we do that? There's a few ways that we can do it, but most often we're going to be using the monitoring task and the archives task. You could also do this from something like the bookmarks task, or really any other task that shows you a video clip as the report results. So from the monitoring task, we can either right-click on the tile, and in the camera menu we can choose to export video from the selected tile, or we can export it from the widget on the dashboard. Now the widget will give us an option, actually sorry, let me just drag another camera in here just to show you this feature. So from this one we can actually choose to export all video from all tiles as well. So there's two ways that we can do that there. So from the pop-up menu we need to select the folder where we wish to export the video files to. We need to choose the file format, either G64 or ASF. And as well we have a few additional options below here as well. So for instance, if we wanted to include the portable archive player with the exported video, you could put a check mark next to this option here. And additionally we could create an auto-run file to go with it as well. Now in the time range we have the video clips, or multiple clips in this case, that we're reviewing. And we can choose to modify the time and the length of the clip using the start and end times and dates here. We can also select one, and we can just remove it completely if we didn't need it. Okay, I'm going to cancel that from here. So we can see from the archives task as well, we can do that from using a clip. So we just need to search for the video, click on the clip, and then you notice right down here the export video button popped up. Now this is really the same menu that we saw for the monitoring task just a second ago. Now looking at the video formats here, we have G64 and ASF as I mentioned. The G64 format is a proprietary Genetec format, so nobody will have the codec to view this video except us or one of our customers, and you're going to need to use either the security desk or the portable archive player to view the file. The G64 format also includes the metadata, such as motion levels and bookmarks. And if you have any watermarking turned on, this is saved as well. This is part of the metadata. which makes it a very good choice for video evidence in a courtroom situation. The ASF format is more common, and it's a Microsoft format, which would be a good choice if you just need to show the video to someone and they don't need to have the video clip protected from sharing. It's much less secure and contains less information, but it is easier to share with others. Okay, for the video, I want to point out one quick task that you can look at from a maintenance perspective, and that's the archive storage details. So I'm going to go here to look for that. I'm going to type in archive, and I want to see it from our task. Oops, okay. Okay, so it's our archive storage details task right here. Now from here we can select a camera or a set of cameras. So I'm going to take a look at two of my cameras right here. And we can choose a time range to view the video details of, let's say in the last 2 days. We can also change the status as well if we want to see if we only want to look for unprotected video, protected video, or any video where the time limit on the protection is ending. I'm going to turn that off for now. I'm just going to see all the video right here. So from the report details, we can see the individual files for the cameras that we have selected and the protection status. So none of this video is protected, so it's all empty here in the protection status. But we can also look at the file size here and other details such as where it's actually being saved to. Now from here, if we wanted to protect a segment of video where we know there is an incident, we can highlight the video and we can choose the protect button right here. This is your standard video protection screen, which asks us to specify the start and end of the clip. Gives us the length of the clip as well. And as well tell it how long we want to protect it for. So we can say indefinitely, which may not be a great idea because it's going to stay on your storage and take up that space forever. Or we can say how many days, or we can give it a specific date as well. I'm just going to cancel from here, and I just want to point out, since this is a video clip, we do have our export video button right down here, as we mentioned previously. Okay, so we're going to move on to our access control functions now, starting with how we want to view doors in the monitoring task. So I'm going to switch back over there. I mentioned if I had too many up here, this is the icon I was referring to. So I can just click on here and go, okay, I want to go back to my monitoring task. So that's a very convenient way if you've got a lot of tasks open right here. Just to keep things running smooth, I'm just going to close a couple of them right here that I know we're not going to need. Okay, so we're back here. I'm just going to clear that out for us, Control and Backspace. So if we have a door monitored, and of course looking at our monitored entities, we know we had two doors that we added. There's two kind of reactions we might see. So when a cardholder presents their card at a door and there's no camera attached to it, they'll come up in a tile with the cardholder picture. So I'm just going to simulate that right here. There's one, and we're going to badge her in at another door. Okay, so if we have no camera attached to it, it's going to come up with the cardholder picture. It could be a solid picture, or like this one, we have the background cropped out. I'm going to pick one with a solid background. Just like that. So you can either have the two options here. That's something you can configure for your card holders themselves. The information will be presented about the door they tried to access, the door side, so it's the main door here, it's side A, and of course the time and date, and if the access was granted or denied. Now, if the door does have a camera associated with it, like in this case, the picture is going to move up to the top right. We can get more information if we hover over it, and the camera will take up the primarily the primary space in the tile here. So that's very easy to view things from here. Now, of course, we can interact with the camera like we normally would here. Since it is with a door, we do have both sets of widgets. We have the door and the camera widgets here. And of course, like everything, we have our tile ones below here. Now, just remember that we do have to have the doors in the monitored entities list that we saw, and we do have to have the access granted and access denied events selected in the to show in the report pane and show in the tile as well. So if we had unchecked that access granted, we wouldn't see that in here. We saw previously how to set that up in the options screen in the general section. Now, once we have selected a door on the tile or have dragged a door into a tile, like we can do here, you do have a few actions you can perform. You will have to perform them from the widget. As we can see, there's not much we can do from the right-click or the tile menu. So from the widget, the first thing we can see is the state of the door, so if it's currently open or closed. So for instance, if I force this door open, you're going to see that the icon change. You can see it does say opened in our door widget up there. Let that close. And of course, we would see if we look in the report pane, we've got that door forced open event that came up as well because we are monitoring that door. We can also see the lock state, whether it's locked or unlocked. And below the states, we do have some functions that are available. If we have anti-passback enabled on the door, which prohibits cardholders from passing their cards back to another cardholder to go through, we can forgive a violation from here. Just hover over that. You can see that's the forgive anti-passback violation button. We can also choose to manually lock or unlock a door depending on its current state. And we can choose to override a door unlock schedule. So clicking on this option will bring up a few options that we can configure here. So we can say whether we want it to be locked or unlocked at the time. We can say the time frame that we want to have in place as well. So for a set number of minutes or hours, or from between a certain time from and to times here. This as well we can this is the basically the relative and the specific absolute times here. So if someone is coming to work on the door, we don't want the testing and the door held open events to be flooding the system. So we can also choose to put the door in maintenance mode from here. So you can say unlocked for maintenance. Once you hit OK, it's going to give you a warning about that. And it's going to tell you that it's unlocked, and the cone icon here will tell you that it's in maintenance mode. If you want to clear that, just click on the clear button here, and it'll go back to its unlock schedule. Now, in case we want to go back and review what's happened at a door over a length of time, we can run a door activities report. So let's clear the filter here. And we're going to look for our door activities report, which is right here. We could also search for that. So we can specify the door or set of doors. If I choose the area here, it's going to select the doors that are within it, as well as a specific set of cardholders and credentials. We can set either one here if we want to. Here's our list of cardholders. And of course, we can set the time range as well. I'm going to turn that off right here. I want to get a general view. So once we generate the report, we're going to see everything that happened for those doors. And as we saw for previous reports, we can export and print this as well. Now, dragging an event from the report to the canvas will show any associated video from that time. If there's any available from the cameras allocated to that door. The main door was not. Let's just go down and find the side door. And that one says there's no recorded video at that time. That's just because I've got it blocked off right there. but it would show you if there was any video associated with it. Now, one of the things you might have to do from the security desk is manage the cardholders and credentials of the people using the access points, basically like your doors and elevators, on the system. So to manage the cardholders, we can run a cardholder management task. Just going to search for it from here. And there it is right there. I do also have it as a favorite, so I could have looked in my favorites and found it there. Now this is going to show us all the cardholders we have in our system and all their relevant information, such as their cardholder group, such as the maintenance staff for this cardholder here. We can also add new cardholders from here, delete a cardholder if we want to, or modify the information on an existing cardholder, such as if their name was spelled incorrectly. Or in this case, if we added a mandatory field for their phone number, we could go in and set that at this time as well. So if a cardholder needs more time to go through an access point, such as if they broke their leg, we can enable the extended grant time from here as well. Just need to check the Use Extended Grant Time option. Now this is of course in the advanced settings. I had to expand that here. And we could add new credentials to a cardholder from here, such as a temporary pass in case they lost their card. Now if we have a lot of cardholders, which is usually the case, we can unhide this advanced search option on the side. And from here we can specify a list of filters that we can use, such as the name or the status of the cardholder. We can also, if you want to hide that again, just click on the advanced search on top. We can also find a cardholder based on the card by clicking on this option right here. So if we have a reader nearby, we can choose the access point, the door to use, or we can use a USB reader if we have one of those connected to our workstation as well. Now if you have assigned a temporary card to a cardholder, you can use the return card button right here. That also is very convenient. Now on top we also have a toggle to change how we view the cardholders. So right now we have it in the details mode, but if we just need to look for somebody and we don't need all the other information, we can switch it over to cards and then just visually look for someone here. Okay, I just want to go over to the credential management task. There it is right there. Let's bring that up. Okay, so looking at this task, we can perform similar actions. So in this case, we're listing this by credential instead of cardholder. But this is doing everything on either cards or PIN codes that we have available to assign to cardholders. So for example, if we need to temporarily deactivate a card because it's been lost, we can modify the credential. Just click on it, click on the modify here, and then we can change the status here, and we can set that to lost if we need to. And then of course don't forget to save the changes here. If we have a badge printer set up and a badge template associated with our credentials, we can choose to print them from the credential management task as well, which is using this option right down here. Now from the investigation task, you can see that we have a few reports that will help track the use of credentials and what cardholders have been up to. So let's go back to our investigation list here. And you can see we've got a lot of access control ones that we can use. So just look for the red underline as I mentioned previously. Now the last task I want to look at here is the visitor management. So this we're going to take a look at up here. It's something we're doing, so it's an operation. So let's bring up the visitor management task right here. Now from here we can manage the temporary cardholders that we will have accessing our doors and other access points in the system. So the typical process is to check in a visitor for a set amount of time. We need to give the name, email address to identify them. And we need to assign them a credential as well. And then once we're finished and they're leaving the system, we can highlight them from our list and check them out as well. Now, as I mentioned, this is our list of currently checked-in visitors. And if you do have a lot of visitors, we do have the advanced search that we can use from the side here. Just click on it and click on it again to hide it if you don't want it. So to check someone in, we have two options. I just put the check-in up there where you put in everything from scratch. But we can also use the returning visitor option. So we click on that button. It's going to tell us who has been here before, and this really speeds up the process. So if I want to bring Frank back in, I can check him in, and I can also choose to edit him as well. Now, similar to the cardholders, we can modify any checked-in visitors to change this information, even if they are inactive at the moment. Now, from the Create and the Edit screen, we can click on the visitor's picture to change any information. So there are a few different options. We can load it from File, from a webcam, from a camera we have in the Security Center system, or even if you've cut a picture into your clipboard, you can just load it from there as well, which is very, very convenient here. Okay, we can also add the visitor to a cardholder group. We can see right now the visitor is in the visitors group. This will allow us to restrict what kind of access rights they have to the doors on the system. Now we do have two helpful reports. We're going to look into the investigation section here to see what the visitors have been up to. I'm just going to search on it here to make it easier to see. So the visitor activities task and the visit details here. So the visitor activities task, we're just going to select a visitor here. I'm going to take John here. And we're just going to do it for everything on the system. And once we generate the report, we really can see detailed information on where the visitor presented their credentials and any associated events such as access granted or access denied. The visit details will show us the check-in and check-out information for any visitors. So let's go back here. We're going to go into the visit details. And it's going to say when someone was checked in or out, basically your basic bookkeeping of your the process of checking in and checking out any visitors. Okay, so this is the last section. The last thing I'd like to refer to you in access control is something for maintenance. And this is very very handy. So in the maintenance section of the home screen here, let's go down here. We're going to take a look at the door troubleshooter tool, which is right here. It's very easy to identify with the green plus sign here. Now, using this tool, we can see who has access to a specific door and door side at a specific time and date. So that way, if someone's having trouble getting through a door, we can check if it's a hardware issue or if they just shouldn't be allowed through at that time. Now, it's very easy to run. We just need to select the time and date. It's going to take the current one. We need to choose the door and the door side as well, which is called the access point. And once we hit Generate Report, we can see all the list of cardholders that do have access to get through that particular door at that time. So that's very convenient to know if you need to get anyone involved to fix the door or if it's just a configuration problem. All right, that's the end of the basic operations information that we have to show you. and the end of the webinar for today. In the next couple of days, we're going to post the video of the webinar on the GTAP, as well as any common questions and answers that we received today. In the forum thread for the webinar, we're going to also put the link to the slides in PDF format, which there aren't many, so I think actually I won't throw them up. They're pretty basic there. So we're just going to put the link to the videos, or put the link to the video on the YouTube channel as well, which is available for everyone. So if you have someone you'd like to view this, they don't have to have GTAP access. Send them that link and they'll be able to watch it and learn everything that we did today. We'd really appreciate any comments or feedback you do have on today's webinar. When you close the webinar session, you're going to be presented with a few short survey questions. It just should take a couple of minutes to fill out, and it would really help us out in knowing how we did today and any way that we can improve in the future. If you think of anything you'd like to ask or have any other comments, you can leave those in the GTAC Tech Talk section of the GTAP forums. But we are going to leave the session active for about another 10 minutes or so in case you have any additional questions for us here, and we'll get to those right away. But for now, we're going to wrap it up. So from myself and everyone here at the Genetec Technical Assistance Center, I'd like to thank you very much for attending the webinar, and we hope you all have a great day. Thank you.